Different is the feel now when you know there's actual opponent coming up as opposed to like what the last 4 weeks had been?
I'd say it's just a lot more excitement. You know, it feels a lot more real. You know, fall camp was really intense, but just knowing that, you know, all your 11 months of work, you know, is leading up to this next few days, it's just super exciting and can't wait to get after it.
What does that Syracuse offense look like?
You know, last they have a whole new, pretty much new offensive line, one returning starter. But you know, last year's group was really well coached, so you know they kept the same O-line coach. I know they're going to be a very well coached group, a lot of experience. So we know we're going to have to bring our A game. Yeah, great offensive staff, great coaching staff in general. So we know we're going to have to, you know, work hard, prepare hard this week in the film room as well. So yeah, we're trying to get ready for Saturday.
How difficult is it to prepare for an offense like that where you don't have much film to go by from returning players and things like that?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty difficult, you know, just trying to go back and watch each individual film of the new guys they're bringing in, along with, you know, the offensive scheme that they had last year. So just having a mix of both, you know, it takes sacrifice. It's going to take some of your time, really, but that's all it is. Yeah.
Talked about you guys need to bring your A game. What does the A game look like for Tennessee's defensive line? How do you feel like how good you guys can be this year?
It's really just everybody doing their part, not doing too much. You know, everybody being reliable. You know, my guys got to be able to trust that I'll be able to do my job and vice versa. And same with the guys coming after us. You know, no drop off. That's really all it is. You know, not trying to do, like Coach Hype always says, not trying to do the things extraordinary, but do the ordinary things very well. So.
With Hobbs out on the next couple of weeks, what do you like about the depth behind you and Bryson at that defensive tackle spot?
Yeah, you know, we got a lot of guys stepping up into bigger roles this year. They've been working hard. You know, we all have a bunch of room to grow though. But you know, I'm excited for those new guys stepping up into bigger roles, and you know, I'm excited for me to help bring those guys along because I have some experience. So just being able to show them the ropes, and you know, they're very talented and they're hard workers. So you know, only time will tell till they have a breakout play.
What do you like about that group of freshmen on the interior of the defensive line?
I just like their energy. You know, as everybody knows, Coach G is a tough love type of coach. So not everybody can play for Coach G. So, like, just knowing that, you know, they're able to take criticism. You know, even when the days aren't the best for them, they're willing to come back, still push, still be willing to learn and grow. And also, you know, their humility. You know, they're a pretty well recruited group of dudes, but you know, they're always picking our brains, my brain, Bryson, Dom. You know, they're very humble and they're always willing to learn. So that's something I've always admired about that group.
What are you looking to prove this year for yourself?
Yeah, I'm really just, you know, first of all, just being a leader. You know, I feel like I have that characteristic just naturally. You know, I'm a big people person. I feel like I can help bring others together. But this year, really just, you know, not being in my head so much, being able to have that next play mentality when something goes wrong. You know, every play is not going to be perfect. And really just my steps, my footwork, playing stronger at the point of attack this year. But I worked hard in the weight room, did a lot of extra work, so you know, hopefully that comes into fruition this season.
You're a pretty passionate guy on the field. Is it easy for you to kind of lock in during the week and focus and prepare and not get kind of overexcited?
Yeah. There's a quote that I always like to fall back on. It's a quote from Junior Seau. It says, you know, I get paid to practice. I play the games for free, and that's just kind of been my mentality just my whole life. Like football is just, you know, like my getaway when I get to run out on the field and, you know, run out through the tee, play for the Vols. Like that's just like my happy space right there. And then, you know, practice, obviously it's not the most fun, you know, outside looking in, but you know, to get where you want to be on Saturdays, you have to bring it just like it's like game day, you know, throughout the week. So that's just kind of my mentality throughout practice.
What do you do on game day to sort of put yourself in that emotional state, or does it just happen naturally?
Yeah, I would say it happens naturally, but you know, as the bus starts to take us to the team hotel the night before, I just think about, you know, everybody that's poured into me to get to this point and those that have come before me. You know, I like to play for, you know, my loved ones, the ones that, you know, can't watch me now, you know, the ones that are up in heaven. So, you know, it's just a lot. I like to play for a lot, but, you know, it's just I would say it's just something that always happens naturally.
Do you have any pregame rituals or
Yeah.
superstitions?
I really say I always like to take a shower right before we head on the bus, and then other than that, I wouldn't say I'm too superstitious. I always have to play super hype music as soon as I wake up on game days. So some people are like chill music throughout the day. I'm just hype music at like 6 a.m. So I'd probably say that's my ritual.
You guys obviously play in big stadiums all the time. Does it add anything to this game to be playing in an NFL stadium?
Oh, I think it's a cool opportunity just for us, you know, aspiring to get to that next level. But, you know, like at the end of the day, it's another game, just in a cool venue. So that's how I look at it.
Coach G sometimes has talked about how he lets like the players kind of dictate the own competition. Like he doesn't need to do extra to push you guys along.
Mm-hmm.
How much has that allowed you all to take that next step? You know, maybe not having as many returning starters, but a lot of returning players.
Yeah. So I think just having a lot of returners I like to bring back that last game against Ohio State. You know, a lot of us played in that game. It really left a sour taste in our mouth, but you know, we used it as fuel this whole off season. So just when you have a bunch of returners and then a lot of new guys are gonna have to play this year, we kind of like let them know how it feels so that they don't have to, you know, hopefully feel what we felt at that last game, so that they can just, you know, dominate every game that we play.
You practice against that offensive line each day. What for, you know, 4 new starters of that group, for people who haven't seen them yet, obviously, what would you say to expect from this offensive line?
Something to expect from this offensive line, I think they're very young, but something I really admired about them this offseason and in spring ball, fall camp, is that, you know, there were a lot of guys competing for spots, and so it was super competitive every practice. You know, guys bringing their all. Physical young group, but the one where I probably say is hungry. You know, they're hungry. You know, I feel like they're a little I feel like they're a little underrated. So, but you know, I'm excited for them to go show the world what they got. They give us a great look every day, and I'm excited for that group.